Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we tear through the information overload so you can walk away instantly well-informed.
I'm your expert speaker.
And today, we are locked purely on artificial intelligence updates published today, November 26th, 2025.
And if you look at all the updates today from the labs, the boardrooms, the capital cities, the macro theme is, well, it's pretty unmistakable.
Which is what?
We are seeing a major structural fracture in the global AI landscape. This isn't just competition anymore.
It's a strategic divide.
Exactly. It's defined by an accelerating silicon war for hardware dominance and the global rise of these highly localized sovereign AI initiatives.
A structural fracture. That really does frame the whole day perfectly. So our mission is to unpack the essential nuggets across research, products, infrastructure, and policy.
So you can understand what matters most right now.
Okay, let's unpack this. We start where it all begins.
Yeah.
The research lab. And the focus today is squarely on making models better at reasoning and vision.
Right. And first up, out of China, the Qwen team, that's Alibaba, released the technical report for their latest vision language model, Qwen 3VL.
A vision language model, or VLM. So it understands images and text. What's new here?
Well, this one is truly multimodal. It integrates text, images, and video, and it supports what they call interleaved contexts. Naturally.
So you can mix them all together in a prompt.
You can. And the key metric here, the thing that really shows its capability, is its context window. It has a native, get this, 256K token window.
Wait, 256K? For listeners who don't track these benchmarks every day, what does having a context window that massive mean in, practical terms?
It means the model can ingest and process the equivalent of a huge technical manual or an entire novel.
Along with images.
Dozens of high-res images all at once without losing the thread. That's the scale that lets it get leading scores on tough benchmarks like MMMU.
Okay, and sticking with vision, but moving into 3D, we have a major advancement for robotics from Nvidia Labs in the U.S.
Yes, the Locate Anything 3D paper, it tackles this massive problem in physical AI, the depth blindness of current VLMs.
They just can't tell how far away things are.
Right. So they introduced a method called chain of sight. And what's interesting is they reformulate 3D object detection as a language modeling problem.
So it's reasoning about space using words, not just pixels.
Precisely. And the breakthrough metric here is, frankly, it's staggering. On the Omni 3D benchmark, the model achieved 49.89 AP. That's average precision.
49.89. Why is that specific number such a landmark?
Because that score marks a massive improvement of over 15 points. Plus 15.51 points, to be exact, over the previous state-of-the-art.
15 points is a huge leap.
It's a huge leap. In practical terms, it means a robot is that much more reliable in recognizing that's a chair and it's exactly 1 meter away. It's what takes you from the lab to deployment.
So if reasoning and detection are improving, alignment needs to keep up. We saw a new paper introducing something called Rubric RL.
Yeah, and this is focused on making alignment for generative AI, especially image models, more interpretable.
Or getting out of the black box.
Exactly. Historically, you'd train with RLHF reinforcement learning with human feedback, and it relied on a single score. A simple thumbs up, thumbs down.
Which tells you nothing about why an image is bad.
Right. Rubric RL replaces that score with a structured dynamic rubric, a specific checklist of criteria for each and every request.
So it moves from that's bad to that's bad because the hand has 6 fingers and the lighting is off.
Precisely. It gives you clarity on why an image is good or bad, which is just vital for safe, predictable systems.
And finally, in research, a paper that bridges AI directly to manufacturing. Image to G-code generation.
This is fascinating. It proposes using diffusion transformers to convert a design image directly into G-code.
So the actual instructions for a 3D printer.
The actual instructions. And the reason this matters is efficiency. It just eliminates all that complex middleware, the CAD/CAM software. It's a huge step toward a fully automated text-to-object world.
So research is showing us how to build physical things directly from an AI. But what about the software that runs it all? This brings us to commercial deployments.
Where the model wars are definitely heating up. Anthropic dropped a new flagship today.
Claude Opus 4.5.
Right. And it's focused heavily on enhancing its capabilities in planning and code execution.
And they have a key metric to back it up.
They do. The model is the first in its class to hit a score of 80 on SWE-Bench.
Wow. 80 on SWE-Bench is huge. That's the software engineering benchmark. It means it can tackle real-world GitHub issues and generate production-quality code.
Exactly. It really solidifies Anthropic's position as a top contender, especially for developer workloads.
We also saw a big partnership aimed at the open source world, AI21 Labs and Together AI.
Yeah, a strategic alliance. They're connecting AI21's agent system Maestro with Together AI's open source model platform.
And this is all about enterprise adoption.
Right. It is. It's designed to tackle that critical barrier because the data shows that 3/4 of organizations, something like that, want to expand their use of open source AI.
For the cost savings, I assume.
Mostly, yeah. But open source needs those robust orchestration and security layers to work in a big company, and this alliance is providing that integration.
Now, looking internationally, Google Cloud made a very focused move in Southeast Asia.
Yes, the Panyat program in Thailand. It's to help local organizations develop and scale their own agentic AI solutions.
So this is a classic targeted geographical investment.
Totally. It addresses the rapid demand for complex AI agents in that region. And the success metric here is really the local commitment. They already have 15 prominent organizations signed on as charter members.
15 right out of the gate.
From finance, manufacturing, all the big sectors, they're ready to build immediately.
And speaking of localization, Europe is really doubling down on digital independence. We saw Dassault Systems and Mistral AI form a major sovereign AI partnership.
This is a really big technical statement coming out of the EU.
How so?
It moves the whole idea of digital sovereignty from just, a political talking point to a concrete technical implementation. They're building a localized, regulatory-compliant AI cloud.
Creating a template for EU-independent industrial AI.
Exactly. The infrastructure, the data processing, it's all explicitly designed to follow strict EU regulations, separate from US or Chinese oversight.
The moment you mention sovereignty and control, we land right at the core of that fracture. The silicon supply chain.
And the infrastructure news today is, well, it's aggressive.
Starting in China, where regulators have prohibited ByteDance from using Nvidia chips in new data centers.
And this is huge. ByteDance owns TikTok, and they were reportedly Nvidia's biggest customer in China.
So this ban is a major move.
It dramatically accelerates Beijing's push for domestic chip self-sufficiency, and it follows those requests back in August for local firms to stop placing new orders for Nvidia AI chips.
So China is signaling that the geopolitical decoupling is happening now?
It is. Even if it means sacrificing some immediate AI performance for that future, guaranteed independence from Western tech.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., Nvidia's biggest customers are actively looking for alternatives. We're seeing reports that Meta is in advanced talks with Google
to deploy Google's custom tensor processing units, or TPUs, directly inside Meta's private data centers.
Okay, that is a radical shift. Google has always kept its TPUs proprietary.
They were Google's secret sauce, built for search and DeepMind. The fact that Meta, a colossal GPU consumer, is considering this move, it suggests the economics of general-purpose GPUs are just not sustainable anymore.
Not at that massive scale.
Not for the kind of inference and training workloads these frontier labs are running.
So Meta is basically saying, we can't afford the power or the price of GPUs anymore. We need a custom solution.
And Google is willing to let its proprietary hardware out the door to meet that need.
That's the seismic shift.
It is. Google is moving toward becoming a merchant silicon vendor, selling its custom chips to others. It's a direct, aggressive shot at Nvidia's most lucrative market.
And this silicon war isn't just fought in data centers. It's fought in D.C., which brings us to the new regulatory phase.
Right. The U.S. government signaled a more aggressive containment strategy today. The Pentagon added Baidu and Alibaba to the Section 1260H list.
The Chinese military companies list.
And that designation is incredibly powerful. The DoD alleges these firms provide tech support to the People's Liberation Army.
And the immediate effect is?
It prohibits the Pentagon from contracting with them, but more importantly, it signals massive risk to global investors.
And we saw the market react.
Instantly. It led to a 1.3% drop in Baidu stock, and it triggered securities fraud investigations. So the policy move translates directly into market disruption.
Now, moving to the workforce side of things, the Global Talent Competitiveness Index rankings came out.
And Singapore took the top spot globally for AI workforce readiness, displacing Switzerland.
Why?
For their strength in cultivating adaptable and digitally fluent workforces. And the metric here should be an alarm bell for other countries. About 77% of employed workers in Singapore are now classified as highly exposed to AI.
77%. So it's not about building a few models. It's about preparing your entire workforce for what's coming.
Exactly. It's about total digital transformation.
And finally, on policy, the European Parliament continues to prioritize citizen protection. A big vote on age limits for online platforms.
A huge vote. They overwhelmingly voted for strict age limits, and this is the key part backed by requirements for real age verification technology.
How overwhelming was the vote?
483 in favor. It marks a significant escalation, and it signals the EU is willing to mandate specific, complex technologies to meet the regulatory goals. They're mandating a technical solution to a social problem.
Okay, now let's look at the friction in the system and the funding. We have two key incidents today that reveal the fragility of this whole ecosystem.
Starting with a security incident at OpenAI.
Right, involving a third-party vendor.
Mixpanel, an analytics vendor they used. An attacker got unauthorized access to a dataset with customer information.
What kind of information?
No passwords or chat data, but
Right.
names, emails, and approximate locations of API users were compromised. It's a harsh reminder of supply chain risk.
And OpenAI's response.
They immediately terminated their relationship with Mixpanel and are expanding their internal security reviews.
And just hours later, a totally different kind of problem. A high-severity operational flaw.
Yeah, a server-side bug in the OpenAI Assistant's API streaming endpoint. A really fascinating failure, actually.
What happened?
The API was prematurely closing HTTP connections. The root cause was the server failing to send the complete chunked transfer encoding termination sequence.
In plain English.
The server wasn't sending the final mandatory goodbye signal that tells the user's app the data stream is done.
A critical handshake failure. What was the impact?
Immediate and massive. It was affecting nearly 100% of streaming requests all day. Developers had to build complex workarounds, and it added up to 15 seconds of latency.
Which kills any real-time agentic workflow.
Kills it. And despite all these hiccups, the capital just keeps flowing. Elon Musk's XAI is reportedly closing in on a massive funding round.
Massive.
They're set to secure up to an estimated $15 billion.
$15 billion.
With a B. And that immense sum is just what's needed to scale their Grok models and stay competitive. It shows you the financial barrier to entry at the frontier.
On the adoption side, a huge skills initiative announced in India.
Yeah, the NASCOM Foundation and IBM are partnering to upskill marginalized youth across the country.
And the numbers.
This partnership directly targets 87,000 underserved youth with free digital courses in AI and cybersecurity. It's part of IBM's goal to skill 30 million people globally by 2030.
A massive workforce preparation effort.
For sure. And wrapping up, the Chinese robotics firm Agibot made its Singapore market debut.
At the AI Gravity 2025 conference.
Right, and this signals a serious investment in embodied intelligence in the Asia-Pacific region. Agibot is bringing a huge portfolio of robots.
And their metric is uniqueness.
Yeah, they claim to be the only robotics firm in the industry to deliver a complete product portfolio across all major applications for the region. It's a clear signal of intent to dominate physical automation in Asia.
So we've covered the big things today. The intensified Silicon War, the rise of sovereign AI as a technical reality, and the recurring fragility the systems we're all building on. If you had to distill this entire news cycle into one conclusion, what would it be?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the main competition isn't really between AI models anymore, not GTT versus Claude.
Okay.
It is now fundamentally over the cost and control of the underlying compute infrastructure. Who controls the chip architecture, who controls the supply chain, who controls the regulatory environment. Those are the defining factors of power.
That structural fracture we mentioned at the top, it is fully materialized in the hardware layer.
Exactly.
Okay, for the learner, we always want to leave you with something actionable. For tools you can use today, look up the Singing SDS research project.
The code and a web demo for Singing SDS are public, up on Hugging Face and GitHub. It's a fully modular, open-source pipeline.
What does it do?
It lets you experiment with integrating large language models like Llama 3 or Gemini with singing voice synthesis. It's a great open resource for creative AI development.
Very cool. And here are the numbers of the day that truly define today's news.
Number 1, $15 billion, the high-end target for XAI's funding round. It just illustrates the staggering capital required to even compete at the frontier.
And number 2, 49.89 AP, the average precision accuracy from the new Locate Anything 3D model.
And that represents that huge technical leap toward reliable 3D perception that makes autonomous systems actually viable in the real world.
Reliability achieved through very specific metrics.
Huh.
And here is a final thought for you to explore on your own. Considering that server bug that hit OpenAI's streaming today, causing massive latency because of a failed fundamental goodbye signal, how quickly will the AI industry accept that even the most magical technologies are still constrained by the fundamental physics and fragile infrastructure of the internet?
The future of agentic AI still runs on TCP/IP.
Something to explore on your own. So what does this all mean? We'll continue tracking the money, the chips, and the policy right here on The Deep Dive.
We'll see you next time.